Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, home of the Mischief Makers, and welcome to what I watched in October, week 3 and 4. I'm sorry it's so late, but I had a very legitimate reason. I was in a coma. And now that's out the way, let's get stuck into what I watched. But first of all, if you're new to my channel, hello channel. If you're new to my channel, hello, and subscribe and like for more videos like these. I do gaming videos, my shadow reviews will be back very soon. I've fallen so far behind on them, but they'll be back around about, I don't know. Probably not, probably a couple of weeks. I've got these short mini horror reviews coming out soon, which I'll start to do, which are going to be really fun. But without further ado, let's get stuck with what I watched this week in October, weeks 3 and 4. Now surprisingly, there wasn't too many films I watched. I don't know why. Work, that's always a good reason, and that damn coma I was in. But yeah, I watched a fair few things, starting with something that Lisa loves. Good old Lisa loves, my pal. Hello if you're watching. She put me onto this documentary called Into the Deep, The Submarine Murder. Now, this it's a nutty documentary. It's like watching a movie and you can't believe you're pesky kids. But yeah, this documentary is crazy because is this base gonna fall down? Can you hear all these cracking noises? Oh, make it quick and painless. But essentially, Into the Deep is about this really, you know, my memory's really crappy at the moment from many things I watched like almost 3 weeks ago, but I'll do my best. It's about this guy who's quite a big shot in Holland. It doesn't matter where this is set, but basically it's about this journalist from Australia, and she's doing a documentary following these like scientists, loose, like people that just like to build things, and some of them do it for free. And there's this one guy called Peter Madsen, I think, Peter Madison. So I forgot his name wrong. But essentially what he does is he builds these shuttles and like these just go into space and blow up, whatever. And he's trying to build this submarine. And the whole reason for this journalist is there is to document this. So she's filming a documentary that is nothing to do with a murder, but she happens to be there when the person they're following is accused of murder. So she's gone from going there to document this guy and his crew building this submarine. No, it's not building a submarine, it's building the spaceship. Sorry, it's like a little shuttle, nothing, not like NASA or anything, like really small independent shuttles. But it's gone from making a documentary about the team doing that, then following the team as they go through the trial of their boss or the investigation of their boss. It's nuts. And if none of you have watched it, definitely make sure you do, because I was just like, no, sometimes you put like a film or a TV show, a documentary on, and it's like, it kind of 5 minutes in doesn't do the job. This one is gripping as anything. I'd probably give it like 4 stars. 4 stars, I'm betraying my geeky coin. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 geeky coins because it just kept me gripped the entire time. Now, I did a live stream with Rainbow Fright. It was a great live stream about psychological thrillers, and he mentioned a lot of films. We had to go on there and bring our 2 favorite psychological thrillers. So I brought on there Misery and Silence of the Lambs. They're my 2 favorite psychological thrillers. Although there is one film I watched recently, not on this list, that may join them because I loved it so much, and that'll be out next week to see what that film is. But I watched a lot of the films that the other guests that were on, to just remind myself. Some of these I haven't seen for years. So the first one I watched was a film called Bug, and it stars, oh my god, I'm so terrible at, okay, oh my god, I just realized Letterboxd, you can scroll down and find the actors and names. All this time I've been, never mind. So it stars Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon, and basically Ashley Judd plays this woman called Agnes. She lives in this really tiny, like part, like very country-esque part of America, very small, not like in the city. It's quite rural, and she just spends her nights in these bars, chain smoking, helping behind the bar for a girlfriend or whatever's going on there at the time. She goes home, does like all kinds of drugs. And she's recovering from something. She's a broken woman. She's gone through something really bad. It's the loss of a child that she lost. She went out shopping one day, and the child just got kidnapped or disappeared. She doesn't know, and she's living with that every day. And her friend introduced her to Michael Shannon's character, who's this conspiracy guy. Everything's a conspiracy, and this is happening and that's happening. And he convinces her that the government have done all these things to them in their life. So the government were involved in her child's disappearance, and that there's bugs, not like bugs as in like things you strap to people's chest, literal bugs that were made by the government to infiltrate them and get inside their skin and spy on them. It's crazy. Like it's a film that makes you feel crazy when you're watching it, because he's making sense and then he's not making sense, and she shouldn't be falling for it, but you can understand why she's falling for it, because she's no dummy, but she's like encouraging him, Michael Shannon's character, that these conspiracies are true. Comes out that he's actually a schizophrenic, and even though she knows this, she's just like, I've got nothing in life. This is giving me something to like make sense of my life. And it's a crazy, crazy film. Would I probably watch it again? I don't think I would. Not because it wasn't good or anything. It just it's a good one-time watch, you know. Like I think, I don't know what I gave it on my phone. I have to remind myself. But I gave it 3 out of 5 Geeky Coins, because it was good, but it hasn't got that that oh, I can't pronounce my R sometimes. It doesn't have that rewatch value for me anyway, but it's still a good film, and if you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out. Now the next film is called Funny Games USA, and stars Naomi Watts, and I have to jog my memory, Tim Roth, Michael Pitt, and Brady Corbett. And I don't think I watched this film. You know what? I was watching this film. I think I must have seen this film in another life or in an alternate universe, because I swear I've seen this film before, but I obviously hadn't. But yeah, such a pointless story. But Funny Games USA is based on an Austrian version of the same name. It's a remake by the same director. Everything is basically a shot-for-shot remake of the original, and with a few different like subtle differences, maybe in like language differences, that kind of thing. Maybe a few subtle cinematography-esque. Look at me trying to be a professional, getting it all wrong. So essentially, the film about this family. They're on vacation. They're going to meet some friends, very well off, very rich people. They're going to like these little condos by the lake so they can go fishing and go on yachts. And while they're there, they meet these 2 young guys, must be in their maybe late teens, very early 20s, and they go around Naomi Watts' vacation home and ask for some eggs. And one of the boys is kind of simple in a way, very smart, but acts very simple, and as a result, he gets the eggs, he breaks them, and she's getting annoyed because he keeps breaking the eggs that she's giving him. An argument ensues with them, and essentially what happens is you have a film that's kind of like The Uninvited, and these boys take the family hostage. And I love this film so much because it kind of like shines a mirror on us, the viewer, and shows us like, why do we like these kind of films? Why do we like to see nice families with couples or whoever in these situations where they could die, they could be uninvited, bad ending for them. And there's a lot of fourth wall breaking by the what they call the kidnappers, if you want to call them that. And I loved that. I was like, oh my god, this film's amazing. Very freaky at first, because he literally just turns to the camera and starts talking to you, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm just watching this film. I didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, this film is definitely worth watching. It takes films like Uninvited, twist them on the head. There's some great dialogue. There's some long shots that are purposely there. I read all about this film after, and I'd watch it over again. It's a personal favorite of mine. It's a great psychological thriller, and if you've never seen Funny Games US, make sure you do. I don't want to go on too much about it, because the thing about psychological thrillers is the reason why they are so good is there's a big twist or something that makes you go, oh my god, I did not see that coming. So the last few films I'm trying to be as vague as I can, because I wanted to watch these and have as much fun as I did. and I gave Funny Games 4.5 out of 5 Geeky Coins. I must have loved it. But yeah, it was a great film, and I'm watching so many old films lately that for me are better than current films. So yeah, another one of those coming up next. But yes, check out Funny Games. Now, what's funny about the next few films, I watched The Watcher, and then I watched a load of other films back to back, all of them containing Naomi Watts. It's like she likes making these weird, trippy movies, but I'm here for it because she's great in all of them. And actually, Naomi Watts is a really underrated actress. When you see her on all these different roles, I'm going off on a tangent. Someone must stop me. But Stay is that film I mentioned that I watched this week. I was going to talk about next week. It was on my list. I just saw it now. But Stay with Ryan Gosling, Ewan McGregor, and Naomi Watts. I love that film. When you get to the very end, of the film, and you need to watch the film straight away again, immediately again, because you think you're just watching a typical film about like Ryan Gosling's character, this young man, troubled, suicidal, goes to see his psychologist, who's Ewan McGregor, and he's trying to help him out. The kid's got something weird about him. Ewan McGregor's getting very worried about him. He needs to find him. Just want him to kill himself. Naomi Watts plays the girlfriend of Ewan McGregor, who's this artist, and she's trying to give her support as someone who tried to commit suicide herself. And you just think it's a typical movie, but so many things happen throughout that you see and you question that you've seen it, and you'll see certain things and things won't make sense, and they shouldn't make sense because of the film you're watching. But as soon as you get to the very end of the film, when all is revealed, it's, I would say, one of the best metaphor movies, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the right phrase to use, metaphor movie, but it's one of the best. I'm trying to make sure my camera's not going to run out of battery. Or film for that film. What am I, 1920s? I'm going to continue talking about the film I was talking about. But yeah, so it's not a metaphor film, but when you've seen it, the way it blows my mind. I can't talk about it more than what I've told you about, because it gives too much away. And if I was to give anything away or imply things, I would never forgive myself, because if you haven't watched it, make sure you do. I'm pretty sure I'll give this a high score. 4 out of 5 Geeky Coins. I'm going to change that to 4.5 out of 5 Geeky Coins because it's great. So again, I was on the psychological thriller medley. I was in most of these films are psychological. I think this was the last one before I move on to my Halloween watches. But the last film I have never seen was Black Swan with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis. What a good film. I know that's obvious, people, because I think I'm the only one that has never seen it in probably our YouTube community, or I think most people may have not seen it, but I should have seen it because I love these kind of films. And it's great. It's everything I want from a film. I loved the poetry and the symmetry between what the ballet they're trying to perform is versus what the film is playing out. I think the performance by Natalie Portman is amazing. I think this is one of the few horror films that got nominated. I say horror films, it's such a loose horror film, but it's one of the few ones that got nominated for an Oscar. I have no idea if it won. I don't think it did. I think Natalie Portman won the Oscar for Best Actress, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going on my very vague memory of the Oscars. But it's a great film. If you've never seen it, essentially you got Natalie Portman, who's a really lovely girl, bit controlled by her mum, but nice person, and she just wants to be a world-renowned ballet dancer. She's been doing it since she was a kid, and a position has opened up in a local ballet hall in whatever you call it, ballet hall in New York. And Mila Kunis is like the wild child ballet, and they're trying to do the Black Swan. I think is it Black Swan or Swan Lake? I think it's Swan Lake. And the director of this ballet wants the same ballet dancer to portray the White Swan, who's pure, innocent, and fragile, and also portray the Black Swan, who's a bit more rugged and loose and less control, And Natalie Portman's got the white swan down, but she hasn't got the black swan down. And she's beating herself up because she wants that part and she wants to do the best best performance on stage. Mila Kunis has she embodies the black swan, but maybe not the white swan, and she's kind of what's the word? Encroaching? Is that a word? She's trying to take Natalie Portman's position in this ballet. And Natalie Portman starts to lose the plot. She's seeing things, she's hearing things, she's like seeing double gangers of herself, where she thinks she sees herself walking towards herself, or pictures turning around and looking. It's really creepy, but really, really good. And I loved the ending. And what I loved about this film, and most films, especially psychological ones, I like to read about them. And I love the fact that Natalie Portman had a lot of input in this story, and the fact that she rewrote a lot of the dialogue and the ending with the director. And I think after hearing her reasons as to why, they're really, really good. Because I'm not going to ruin the ending because that's not what I want to do here. But if you have watched it and you know the ending, just read a little interview about the original ending he wanted and dialogue. See what Natalie Portman wanted. And then you'll see that the input she put into this character, because obviously she played it so well, was a good decision indeed. And I think I gave Black Swan 4.5. Man, I was really loving life at the moment with these films. But I gave Black Swan 4.5 out of 5 Geeky Coins. I think if everyone's seen it, it's a great film, we can all agree. If you've never seen it, definitely check it out, because it's great. Tony the Tiger apparently reviews now. Now on to the films I watched on a Halloween weekend. Not Halloween for the first time, I think. Maybe because Halloween Ends just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I watched Trick or Treat already, my favourite Halloween movie of all time. I watched Haunt, one I wanted to talk about, but I ran out of time. But the films I did watch over Halloween was with my sister, because every year we meet up, go to my mum's, and we just get treats, and we get our pajamas, like shut all the curtains, and we just watch horrors, because she's horror mad, I'm horror mad. And I bought, especially for this occasion, on Blu-ray, Terrifier 1 and 2. Man, I've never been happier. I loved those films. They were so fun, so gory. You shouldn't like Art the Clown, but me and my sister are cracking up. Like, he's great. I think everyone and their gran has seen, especially if you love horror, has seen Terrifier 1 and 2. I'd never seen Terrifier 1. I'd seen the short story on All Hallows Eve, I think it's called, where I first saw him. I think it was a different actor as well that portrayed Art the Clown. But it was a film I've always wanted to see, but I just never got around to it. And I think the main reason was it kind of creeped me out, the clown. I don't mind clowns, but I was thinking to myself, I'd rather watch this with my sister, because if it is insanely gory, I would want her to be there with me like she was when we watched I Saw the Devil. That was great watching it with her, because she was horrified. But Terrifier 1, the kills, Art the Clown, his facial expressions, like when he kills someone and he's like miming, laughing out loud and wiping a tear from his eye and a little horn. He's hilarious. Like, this is what slashers need to be again. Not like Halloween Ends trying to share some message about society. Just get in there and do the job and have fun. That's what Art the Clown is, the MVP of horrors at the moment, in my opinion. And there's a death with a rusty old sword that kind of does a banana split. And if you've seen this film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My sister was screaming, basically doing cartwheels and somersaults on the chair, going, no, no, no. And I'm just like, going, oh my god, this is disgusting, but this is amazing at the same time. Love the first one. Terrifier 1 gets 5 out of 5 Geeky Coins, because I just love stuff like this. Like, Hatchet, great film, but Art the Clown is my dude. Gets me onto Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 is a fantastic sequel, and you know what? It's not better than the first. It's not worse than the first. It's an amazing, worthy sequel. They gave me something different. I loved, like the actress who played, I forget her name now. Is it Sophie Lavera? Laura Lavera? I'm forgetting her name. Let's see what her name is. Lauren Lavera. I was close. I was close. Lauren Rivera. And yeah, great cast. Well, cast were fun. Some crazy deaths. Like, it just does a job. And there is a scene, I don't even actually talk about what the films are about, but I don't think it really matters. Crazy clown finds people, tracks them down, kills them in crazy ways. Those are the terrifying films. There's more to them, but they're so much fun. But in Terrifier 2, there is a scene where someone has a gun pointed at his head, and he's just doing this. Like, he's like a cartoon character, like Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck, and I think that's why I like him so much, because it's like watching a Looney Tune cartoon if it was rated 18. I love the Terrifier films. I pray for Terrifier 3, 4, and 5, and then Art the Clown in space. That's what I want in life. That'd be great. Art the Clown in space, or Art the Clown versus Freddy Krueger, or Art the Clown. I'm going off tangent once more about what I'd love to see in horror films, but again, Terrifier 2, 5 out of 5 Geeky Coins. Art is the GOAT of horrors. 2 more films on the list. One I'm not going to go into because I've already reviewed it, which is Last Night in Soho. Great film. Mum and sister had never seen it. It was the last film on a Halloween night. Mum doesn't like horrors too much, but I thought this is a good one to put on for her, because it's not gory or squeamish. Although my mum did walk into Terrifier 1 and 2 a few times, and that was amazing. But again, Last Night in Soho, great film. Not going to say too much about it, but 4.5 out of 5 Geeky Coins, because I think I've got a review up for it already. I'm not too sure, but yeah, 4.5 out of 5 Geeky Coins. Not going to talk about it. But the last film for weeks 3 and 4 of October was The Boy. I've never seen it. There's some really random horrors that I just flicked through on Netflix that never gripped me. And films about dolls don't really do it for me. Like Annabelle. Oh, I think Annabelle ruined it for me, because in The Conjuring 1, great. The Annabelle movies suck. And I know they got a new one coming out next year. Oh, what is it? Begins with an M. Freaky looking doll. I forget the name of it. I'm going to put a picture here somewhere so you know what I'm talking about. That looks cool. So going into this, I was thinking, oh, what's this going to be like? It wasn't bad. It was good in a way that it subverted your expectations. So yeah, I kind of, again, because I've seen a few like mini films on YouTube, or like X-Files episodes, or just small horror films, I can kind of guess what was coming later down the line. But it was still alright. Good acting all around. What made me laugh when I put it on Netflix, it said like sexual content, and I was thinking, okay, did you call like kissing and cuddling on bed sexual content? Because if that's the case, I'm a porn star. But The Boy, it's okay. It's literally about this American woman looking to find a job while she's in the UK. She's trying to escape her past in America. She goes to this English manor in the middle of the country, where there's a very elderly couple, and they're talking about their son, Bram. And she meets Brahms, a porcelain doll that looks like their son who died in a fire. And she has to look after this doll, and she has to follow these rules, and if she doesn't, crazy things may happen. And she thinks she's being watched or followed. Things are happening in this home. And then, like most films, there's a twist, which I won't spoil. I think I'm so behind on some of these really nichey but not great horrors. But it was okay. It done the job. Would I watch it again? No. Am I going to watch the sequel? No. I've heard too many bad things from every single person to invest my time in a film like that I know undoes what the original does. It kind of like completely contradicts it. So I'm not about that life. So I'm going to give I'm going to give The Boy number 1. I'm going to give that probably, trying to think on the fly right now, I'm going to give it 2.5 to 3 out of 5 Geeky Coins, because it's not terrible, it's just not very inspiring to me as a horror fan. But that is it, guys. That is me and what I watched in October 3 and 4. I'm so sorry that it's come this late. November weeks 1 and 2 will come next week, 100%. I've got some good little films. I'm really into serial killer Netflix documentaries. Fascinating me at the moment, and anything to do with sharks. So expect a lot of like serial killer TV shows, shark movies, and a few other ones thrown in. You know, there's a film coming out on Screenbox this weekend. I think horror flicks of Nick mentioned it about the worms in the mouth. I'm watching that like tomorrow, so they're gonna have a little mini review of that up next week. So yeah, and I've got Shudder reviews coming out soon. Loads of gaming videos of me playing Resident Evil Village coming up. I just had no time because of my new promotion at work and working late, so I do apologize for being this late. Any of the films I've mentioned, let me know what you thought. Have you not seen them? Will you see them as part of my recommendations? Have you seen the films I've spoken about? If you have, was I too harsh? Was I too easy? Did I praise one better more than the other? What did you think? If you like this video, drop one of those likes because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.